Hey guys, it's Cam here. Welcome back to the build room, and it is nearly the end of 2022, which means we've got a special New Year's Eve custom cars and coffee to go to. So today's episode is going to be about getting the Top Gun themed RA28 Celica all buttoned up and ready to roll. And if we get some time, we've got a couple of choice little modifications that I'm going to make. So stick around and check it out. All right, so the first thing you're gonna notice here is we are up on jack stands. Now, I have been driving this thing around a little bit, just for, you know, shits and giggles. And one thing that is worrying me about this thing is that knock in the front left-hand suspension. Now, it's only on the left side, and it's not a particularly bad sounding knock, but it's just one of those things that I feel like if I leave it alone, it's only gonna get worse. So the first thing we're gonna do is try and find the source of that problem and sort it out, because I think it's about a 40K round trip for this show on Saturday. So yeah, I'd prefer to have it fixed and something go wrong on the day. So first things first, we'll pull the wheels off and then we'll get underneath and have a look. Okay, so now in terms of this noise, there's a couple of things we need to remember. Firstly, I have just rebuilt both struts. So before these went on, they were originally destined for violet crumbles, our RA23, which is on the rotisserie over there. And we went top to bottom on these things. New shocks, springs, we powder coated them all. We fully rebuilt the brakes. We put new bearings in them, new discs, the works, and they look fantastic. But there is the possibility that something is loose in there that I didn't tighten up. So it could be something as simple as maybe the gland nut on the strut insert not being tight enough, or it could be the upper pillow mounts making a knocking. I have heard some reports that these aftermarket ones aren't the best quality. I didn't know that when I bought them. Ironically enough, they actually have best quality stamped onto them. But you know, you can't always believe everything you read. But in order to check over all of those things, I need to really pull the strut, get it on the bench, pull it apart and have a look at it. And that also assumes that I've done something wrong in the reassembly there, as opposed to maybe something else on this car is 50 years old and not as tight as it should be. So we are gonna start off running the KISS methodology, keep it simple, stupid, and we're just gonna move stuff around and see if we can find anything that has movement where it shouldn't have, or that doesn't have movement where it should. We did put all new tie rod ends through this thing, except for the idler arm. So yeah, I'll stop jibber jabbering, we'll get under the car, we'll leave us some stuff, and we'll also do a standard nut check. All right, so we're gonna start with the caster rods, because these two metal washers, I actually think they're supposed to be the other way around. If you know for sure, certainly the ones on my RA23 were the other way around, but then again, that thing has been jumped more times than Bigfoot, so I'm not really sure the guys that put it together too reliable. But yeah, this one's gonna be a tricky one because there's not really good places to lever it from. I don't wanna damage the rubber bushes, so I'm just gonna lever off those metal washers. Seems okay that way. And same that way. The bushes actually look pretty good. It's okay. Got some sway bar stuff we can get in. This is not very scientific, but it does work surprisingly a lot of the time. Got more sway bar links here, which I don't think will do much. Lower control arms themselves. I mean, all of these bushes, a lot of them are actually replaced with nolithane in the rear, and they look pretty new up front. I would say they're either new rubber or black nolithane, so they're not too bad. There's no real movement in the ball joints on the lower control arms. I mean, it's difficult to simulate the weight of a car, but that's why we wiggle stuff. It's mainly when we go over bumps. So I'm just gonna try and push this strut up and down a little bit and articulate it and see if we can hear where the noise is coming from. Ooh, okay, that's really interesting. I can hear it, but I can feel it in my left hand. And my left hand is on the steering components. So it feels like it's coming from there more than through my right. So let's have a look. The good thing about the steering is there's a ball joint on the end of it, so I can move this around without really affecting the strut, so we can isolate, which is the problem there. Oh yeah, there's definitely a clunk there. Where is it? Let's have a closer look at this. So we've got the track rod here and a new tie rod end here. So if I try and move them, I get nothing, right? There's no play here. Have a look at the idler. All right, hopefully I can show you this with one hand because I've got to hold the camera with the other, but you see the distance, the gap here shrinking? You can actually hear the knock. So that one's no good. And if we see, we're missing the split pin. We should have a split pin holding this castle nut on. So it could be that this ball joint's bad. It could be that this nut is just loose and we're moving the arm up and down. We'll see. Let's check the other one. All right, I don't know if you guys can hear that noise, but again, it's a fairly significant knock. It feels like the ball joint is actually moving around in the housing. So yeah, that's no bueno. And I'm not gonna mess around here. I'm just gonna replace both the Pitman arm and the idler because let's face it, I should have done it in the first place. All right, so we're gonna start by cracking both of the ball joints. Just take the castle nut off. Oh. And then we've got our ball joint separator here. These things are worth their weight in gold. Gonna need a hammer to get that in there. It might even crack off when I do it. We'll see. All right, so we've got the tie rod end tool really deeply seated there, so that's good. Unfortunately, the only place I could get it into there, we can't get to the top with a rattle gun. I prefer just to bang these off with the impact wrench, but that's all right. We'll just use a spanner on this end, and as we tighten up this bolt here, it is gonna push down on this lever, which in turn will push this part of the puller upwards and push the tie rod end out. All right, so you can see we've got a nice healthy gap there. It can't drop down any further because the Pitman arm is holding it up. So let's get that one undone and then that track rod should drop right down. All right, so we'll start by getting this split pin out. Get our nut off. Same gear puller as before. And there we go. So now we can shift that right out of the way and we'll get the Pitman arm itself off, which is this nut here. Now, if you're doing this yourself, that is a 30mm nut, so be prepared. Comes off easy if you got the right tools. All right, and I'm gonna mark this, not because we're putting this arm back in, but I just wanna know roughly where center is so that when I put the new arm on, the position of the steering wheel inside the cabin isn't radically changed. All right, I'm just gonna pull this wheel off and then open up the engine bay so that we get a bit more light and a bit more access. All right, what we're gonna use for this one is another end separator. It's a different style. The problem with the forked ones is this shaft here is just too big to get them across, so you can't get it off that way. So this one is much easier and should be able to slip over the back, but these jaws are just a little bit too thick. So I'm actually gonna take some material off these. I'm not gonna take too much because obviously I will weaken them significantly. So just enough to slide it in, and then we should be able to just do that one up like so, and it will crack this thing off. So yeah, I'm just gonna grind off a small amount of this and I will be back. All right, moment of truth. All right, that's good. So, show you this in position. So you can see that, you know, it's got a really nice purchase up here, and this bolt is just gonna push as hard as it can on that end of the sector shaft. and this thing should pop off. All right, Pitman arm removed. Let's get the idler arm out. So the idler arm is just held in with 2 bolts. There's one there and one over there that you can see. These go all the way through. So on the other side, you can see you've got 2 bolt heads here. So you just got to remember to put a spanner on the back to lock these off so they don't spin. That's one. All right, idler out. All right, so this is our old idler. It moves nice and freely and this bushing is fine, but this ball joint definitely has movement in it. Yeah, it must be quite worn, and to be honest, this may actually be the original idler arm that was on the car, so a good 45 years old. Now, they don't make these anymore, which means you're either gonna find a rare as rocking horse new old stock and it's gonna cost you an absolute bucket, or you make it hybrid idler arm, which is a RA23, RA28 bracket, this bracket, and what we do is replace the arm itself with an RA40 arm. Now, I actually did a video on how to do this before. I would recommend you not watch that one, or at least look at it if you want the background, but one of the issues that I had was all of the things that I read on the internet that said they were supposed to work, none of it worked. And I think that was because the idler arm that I got for the RA40 was a little bit different to the way the majority constructed, and it had a weirdly sized receiver for the bushes. So none of the bushes fitted, which means there was no solid way to mount this. So I had to go shopping for other bushes. I shopped around for ages. I found some, but they were really tight. You know, this moves quite freely. The other one, you really have to push on it. So I've got different idler arms and different bushes today. We're gonna try it, and if it works, I'm not gonna show you in this video. I'll do a separate video, a really short one, just so that people who are looking for the updated information can get it there without having to watch 20 minutes of footage. All right. We'll knock the old bushings out of it. Bit of grease on the bushes. More grease on the shaft for good luck. Oof. Wash it back on. All right. So RA28 mount, RA40 arm. Now the Pitman arm is much easier. As I said, you can still get these new. We just want to make sure that it is the same arm before we go trying to install it. Yep, that looks pretty much the same. Now the part number for the Pitman arm is SX5421. It is a Pro Steer component. As for the part numbers and everything for the idler arms, there's a couple of different ones. You can get bushes and you can arm and all that sort of thing. So I will go through those in the other video. So for now, let's get these two back under the car. All right, so straight back onto the bolts. Make sure we got our spring washers on. All right, and the torque settings for these bolts are 35 foot-pounds, which is about 48 Newton meters. That's one. That's two. All right, so I've marked the new Pitman arm where I had the old mark as well, so that we can line it up to this one on the sector shaft. Slip it over. That's close enough. And then we've got our big spring washer and our big nut. Now, as I tighten this up, it'll push the Pitman arm onto the spline. All right, and the torque setting for this one is about 75 foot-pounds or 102 Newton meters, which is pretty high. So have someone hold the steering wheel inside the bay to stop it from moving around. All right, good to go. Now we can get the track rod back up into place on both of these tie rod ends. one. That's our second one. All right, and the torque setting for the tie rod ends are 50 foot-pounds, which is 68 Newton meters. All right, there we go. And the other one. All right. Okay, then we can just get our split pin home, lock it off. All right, so I'm just gonna do the other side now, and then I will do a quick bolt check over the rest of the car, and then we will regroup. All right, so great success. Wheels are back on, it's back on the ground. I have taken it for a fairly long drive, and yeah, it ran amazingly. No issues with any of the steering clunk, that's all gone now. There is a few rattles. I think the left-hand side guard is pretty much held on by one single self-tapper screw, at the bottom at least. Got plenty of bolts in the top. So it's moving around, so I need to fasten that down again fairly dodgily before I go to the hassle of trying to get the rusted out bolts out of those holes and get new bolts in place. But yeah, 9 out of 10 so far for the drive. So the question is, what's up next? And there's some good news there. So Australia Post finally came through after 4 weeks, and my steering box is here. So that's exciting. Now that I've got a steering box, I can actually get the LZMFG steering wheel on, which is what I planned to do before, but unfortunately the Toyota boss that I had, or none of the bosses I had, I've got 3 of them, would suit that. So yeah, that's where we're gonna start with the mods, so let's get that on, and there is one more surprise for the interior, which we'll get to in a sec. All right, so for those of you that haven't seen the last episode, there's nothing really wrong with this steering wheel. It is a bit cracked on the back, but the bottom line is they're a very big wheel, and they actually get in way of your legs. You kind of drive it like a bus half the time. So what I'm gonna do is get rid of this one. Don't worry, I won't get rid of it. We'll just put it on the shelf for a while. It's just a 19mm socket on the center bolt. All right, now before we take the wheel off, we just want to think about where the wheels are. Now, this steering wheel is actually on crooked, so even though the steering wheel is off, turned slightly to the right, the wheels are straight. So to get the wheel off, you're just lightly tapping on the back of the wheel, and it's just going to wiggle it off the shaft. You don't have to hit this hard, and you don't want to hit it sort of both at the same time, or you'll end up pulling the wheel into your face, which I have done before. It's not fun. But yeah, you're just gonna wiggle it off. Whew! Just missed my face, but success. All right, now we've got our new steering hub. And for these ones, there's 3 different pieces there, but the top and bottom holes are the ones you need to line up with the top and bottom holes on this ring. As you rotate the wheel, it moves the ring, and that will cancel the indicators. If you get your wheel on and all of a sudden your indicators don't auto cancel anymore, you've messed up something there. We're using the more inward of the 2 bolt patterns, and the point where the wires go through for the horn ring, if I keep that at the top, that'll be my 12 o'clock position. Just gotta watch the horn. Okay, so that's in alignment. Just knock it on a little bit, and then hopefully, provided your shaft is not damaged, you should be able to just tighten up the nut and it will suck the hub onto where it needs to be. That's not looking too bad. We'll need to do that up more, but I need the wheel on it in order to brace it enough. All right, so we get the wheel in place, and then we're just doing up Allen key bolts. Okay, so now we can first up test the horn again. That's working, that's good. All right, now we'll tighten this nut up the rest of the way. All right, I think that's probably tight enough. The main thing we got to check, have we got the wheel far enough in to get the indicators to auto cancel? And it looks like we have. So there we go. Yep, auto cancelling fine. All right, so we're good with that. And then the final piece of the puzzle is the horn button. Now, that should grab about 50% of the internet's hate right there. And then if anyone knows where you can get custom horn buttons made up, I am keen to have a couple of TBR ones made up, so let me know. But the Boss kit is working fine, which means I can show you this. That is the part number. It's a SAS steering boss and it's a BK41L. All right, so steering wheel's on, which is great. Super happy with it. It is a little bit more modern than a lot of people would choose to put in a classic like this, but I think it does match pretty well. I mean, the orange fade here and the orange stitching around the wheel, that kind of matches the orange on the seat piping and the seat fabric here. I don't know if it's a velour, but it is some sort of fabric, and the same cloth which is on the dash, that goes pretty well with the suede. So, you know, I'm pretty happy with it. Like I said, it is a bit more modern than you would expect. It is LZMFG, and if you know why I started this channel, you'll know why I have that wheel. And then so that it's not the only sort of sticking out of place item, we have got this, and that is the complimentary weighted gear knob. These gear knobs are very close to what the originals looked like, which is cool, but they are just really lightweight plastic. I wanted to see if the shift feel on the old W50 here would be improved by having a weighted gear knob. So I got one. We'll get rid of this. And this is the replacement. Again, we've got all the colors matching the fade. It does look a lot more modern than you'd normally put on this classic car, but I don't care. It's my car, I'm trying it out. So it's gonna look like that. It's got the orange fade. It's got the LZ logo on the top, but I'm gonna need to fit that thread adapter, grub screw, whatever you wanna call it, to get this thing on, so let's do that. And then the gear knob just screws over the top. Easy peasy. So I really do need a shift boot for this. It's pretty ugly around here. Feels pretty good in terms of a shifter. Little less old school, but I'm not worried about that. The LZ logo at the top rotates so that you can get it facing up the right way. And yeah, it'll do for now. Is it the vibe? I don't know. But I'm gonna try it for now, and if I do like the weight of it but I don't like the look, I will swap it later for something that is heavy while still looking period appropriate. Like I said, it should at least in the meantime let me secure all of the internet hate. Anyway, that's it for inside. Let's jump outside now. All right, so we're going pretty well. One of the last things that I want to do here is do something about these headlights. Now, this is really just for the aircraft theme. They look a little bit plain to me. It's a beautiful front end, but for a theme car like this at the moment, not so much. So I have got a bunch of yellow headlight film. I've never used this stuff before. We're gonna pull out a headlight and see if we can get one done, and if it works out well, we'll do all four. Now, to get the headlights out, you don't need to take out everything, but you do need to take out some things. So I would recommend at the bare minimum, remove your grille. You're gonna take off the dress ring for the headlights. And that will slide out. And then on each headlight, you have a stainless steel retaining ring, and those rings are held in by a couple of Phillips head screws. There's one there, there's one down there. And those, you only have to loosen off a few turns. You don't have to take them out all the way. There's also one at the top here that you might be able to see. And once you've loosened those off, you should just be able to twist the ring clockwise. And it'll come off. The headlight will come out. And then all you need to do is just disconnect the wiring loom from the back of the light. And you're good to go. So this has got a lot of dirt and muck on the front of it. We'll give this a clean up with a Scotch-Brite and some wax and grease remover, and then we should be ready to wrap it. Doesn't look too bad. Towel it off. All right, I think that's clean enough for what we're shooting for. All right, now moving inside where it's a little bit cleaner. Yeah, nothing on the top there, we're good. This is the wrap. It is got a yellow sticky coating, but it has clear plastic on both sides. So you got to take both sides off before you can wrap it. If you take off this one, which is the sticky one, and you leave this on the front, it won't stretch enough. And especially for something like this, which is a dome shape, you really want to heat it right up so that you can get enough stretch on it to avoid wrinkles. All right, so we can peel the front side off. And then the back side as well. I'm just gonna drop it close to the center. Actually, what I might do is, I'm gonna get a second set of hands here, hang on. All right, so I've got a second set of hands now, and Kelly here is gonna use the heat gun. And she'll heat up the center of this so that when I put it down, it stretches a fair bit. We won't get it on the first shot, but what I'll do is get as much of it stretched as I can, and then hopefully we just have to tweak the edges. So go ahead. Okay. All right, so that's pretty good. So we're probably about, I don't know, 60% of the way there. Yeah, so we've kind of got probably that much, which is all good. So now I've just got to lift the edges slightly, heat them up and stretch them over. The wrap itself is a little bit small to cover the light completely, but the bottom line is once you get those dress rings over the top, you won't see it. Then we just have to trim off the excess. And there we go. So it's not perfect, but in the spirit of the car, it'll do for now. All right, so surprise, surprise, installation is the exact same thing, but backwards. Loom on, light in, retaining ring on, do up the retaining screws. Now, I think I actually like it more with the centers yellow and the outside clear. And that is actually a better way to do it anyway, because I believe it is illegal to tint your headlights yellow in WA. High beams I think we're okay with. So I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm gonna do the other side, throw this all back together, and then I'm gonna give the car a good clean, and we'll come back and see how it looks. All right, so we are done, and I reckon they came out awesome. I'm really glad that I only went for the yellow inners. I think doing both might have been a little bit of overkill. I put the TBR plates on just for some photos. They're gonna have to come off before I drive to Cars and Coffee because it's not legal to drive with those. Yeah, but I did a few other things, put the remove before flight tags on, gave the whole thing a scuff and a clean up any spots where there was rust and things like that. It's all looking really good, and I think it is ready to go. So yeah, that is pretty much where I'm gonna leave it for today. So we're gonna finish out this episode a little bit differently this time, and there is a little bit of an end of year bonus to say thank you for everything over 2022. So I'm gonna do the standard things of showing you the links to the full Violet Crumbles and Do For Now series. I would say like, comment, subscribe, do all the good things. It helps the channel out and I really appreciate it. But other than that, here's a series of clips from 2022, and I just want to give a big shout out to Tom and the boys down at VKI. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time on The Build Room. Bye for now. Hi guys, hey guys, hey guys, hi guys, hey 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 guys. Thanks for your support this year, and all the best for 2023.